Okay, we're going to talk about the face mask order here, just to really kind of encourage people and make people a little more bold about just going out and not wearing a mask. The more people that don't wear a mask, it's going to be like a virus, except a good virus, right? Like the more people who don't wear a mask, more people will see that, and more people will have courage, and more people will be bold enough to take off the mask and stop this nonsense. I mean, here's just something that somebody made about just a couple things of in terms of health, why the masks are something that we should not be wearing. We're going to go over the legal reasons, so we're not going to fully go over the health reasons. That's something you could do your own research on, but decreases oxygen intake, which makes your body more acidic, which makes your body more prone to getting diseases and viruses and whatnot. So you go through all these things, just it's not good to be wearing these masks. It's lowering our immune system. It's making us more vulnerable to not only the coronavirus and whatnot, but the flu that's going, flu season's coming up, and then any other thing. It's making our immune system weak, and those are the people who are dying from this otherwise harmless virus, in my opinion. So we're just going to go over some of the legal orders. So this is the city of Phoenix. This is where I live. So I'm unable to find anything other than a draft, which is kind of weird. In a lot of these places, I can't find. See, look at the very bottom. It's not signed. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they're not showing a signed copy, but some cities I have seen a signed copy. The state level I have seen signed, but Los Angeles I cannot find a signed. City of Phoenix I cannot find a signed. So if anybody could find a signed executive order, please do share. I cannot find one. It's very interesting, and even this, they make these fairly hard to find. Certainly in the search engines, that could be because nobody has interest in seeing these. But whatever. So it's all these executive orders start as whereas. Where do we get our authority from? Blah blah blah. All these things. We have a declared epidemic. We have all these. Pandemic, sorry. We have all these things. This is what we're basing this off of. This is the authority. This is the reasoning behind this order. And now here we go with the order. This is what we are being forced to do. Whoops. All these things that we're being forced to do. And this is the reasoning behind it. So if you read all this, it says, yeah, all persons 6 years and older must, present in the city of Phoenix, blah, 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 must wear a mask. And then it says exceptions. So this is within the order. Within this order, so any business entity, any public entity, right? This is phoenix.gov. Any public entity, this is their law. They are under this law. It doesn't matter if they don't want to accept you into their business. This is their law. They are under this. If they have an LLC, they're under this. If they're sole proprietorship, they're under this. If they are a public entity in any capacity, which 99.9% of the businesses that you go into, whether it's a Walmart, which is incorporated within the United States, or if it's a mom and pop shop, they're under this law. This is their law. Sorry, this is your law. You have chosen to incorporate within the United States, whether that's an LLC, however you structured your business. If you structured yourself under the United States for tax benefits, liability benefits, whatever it might be, you're under this law. Sorry, your opinion is irrelevant if you don't want me to wear a mask. This order that you're under, this is the order that you're under. And right here, exceptions, okay? So here's the exceptions. Here's one right here. For people whose religious beliefs prevent them from wearing a face covering, okay? So, I mean, if you have a religious belief that prevents you from wearing it, all you have to say is, I have a religious belief. And they are under this law. They have bowed themselves under this law because they are a public entity. Point blank, period. They're done, right? That's it. End of discussion. You're under this law. Like, bring a copy of this. Say, hey, are you a public entity? Yes or no? Yes, of course we are. Are you an LLC? Whatever they are. Of course they are. So you show them this. This is the law that you are under. Sorry, I don't care if you do not like it. This is the law that you are under. Okay? Medical exemption. Every single order that I've ever seen has an exemption, whether it's a medical, religious, and most of the time both. So here it is. Here's the medical exemption. For those who fall into the CDC and prevention guidelines, for those who should not wear face coverings due to a medical condition, mental health condition, development disability, or so these are two distinct things. You could either have that, or you could have this, or both, or are otherwise covered under the American with Disabilities Act. Okay, so anybody who has a medical exemption, and everybody does, according to right here, right? Oh, I can't breathe right. I mean, I've worn these things and I cannot breathe right, right? Nobody can, right? Like, I think everybody will agree with that. My brother has asthma, and whenever he puts these on, even after he takes it off for hours, sometimes days, he has trouble breathing. He has chest issues. So these medical issues are very serious, and even if you might feel lightheaded and whatnot, but even when you take it off, you might feel better. There's still these long term, you're creating an acidic environment within your body. Therefore, you're weakening your immune system. I mean, these long term damages might not necessarily be prevalent or very obvious right at the moment that you take off a mask or put it on, right? So this is no different than you going into a store with a wheelchair and them saying, "Oh, we can't, you can't come in here because you have a wheelchair," right? Like, the American with Disability Acts covers that, right? They cannot. It does not matter if they don't want you in there because you have a wheelchair. They do not have the right to refuse because they have incorporated as an LLC or so, whatever they structure themselves as, but they've incorporated themselves within the United States. Therefore, they are under this law. Period. That's it. Done. Okay. So if you have any of these exceptions, then you are free to walk in there with a mask. Does not mean they're not. Nobody reads these laws, right? They just read CNN, MS. They just read what they are told. Oh, it's mandatory for all persons to wear a face covering within local businesses, whatever. Right? Like, that's all they read. But read the fine print here. It clearly says that I'm allowed to come in here, and just like you cannot refuse somebody with a wheelchair, you can't refuse me because I don't have a mask. Done. Okay. So I thought this was kind of funny. This is California's mandatory face mask order legal? They're asking a constitutional expert. And it's funny. He says masks are actually less of an infringement than having to stay at your house. So it's like, oh well, I mean, they're not. We're able to come out of our house, so it's cool. It's like, it's less an infringement. I mean, any infringement is 100% infringement. There's no less, or it's like, you infringe. That's it. So I just thought that was kind of funny. So here's an executive order. So here's the executive order. Executive orders are not laws. This is Washington Times. We could also go to the law dictionary. This is the actual meaning of executive order when they use it, right? You go to a law dictionary. You don't go to Webster's to find the legal definition of a word. You go to the law dictionary. This is Black's second. I couldn't find anything greater than the second, more modern, but it's a directive action from a prime minister or president to its executive governmental agencies in an official document, right? A mayor, a governor, even a president cannot make law, right? He can't make law, right? And the Washington Times here confirms that it's not law. All it is sorry. Here we go. It's a directive action, and it's not even two persons, right? It's not, and it's certainly not to man or woman. It's an executive government. It's to executive government agencies, right? And that would include anything that's incorporated within the United States. So yeah, they hold little legal weight. In fact, they are outright blots to the system of limited government America is supposed to represent, right? So executive orders are not laws, right? So these things that are these mandates that are being subjected to the persons of the United States, the citizens, aren't even laws, right? And within the law, there's an exemption, right? So let's see, where is okay, so this is New York City. Again, I could not find the executive order for New York City, city, not state. So, but this is, nyc.gov. So here we go. Who must wear a mask? All New York State laws, everyone over 2 who can medically tolerate face coverings to wear one. So of course we can't medically tolerate one. They're bad for us. Like it's like I could tolerate a little bit of poison, but once you add more and more and more and more, I mean, you can no longer tolerate. So you got to draw the line at the beginning, not when your immune system is totally compromised. So yeah, it's saying right there, and then it says I can't highlight PDFs here, but do we need to wear one at work? Are there precautions? Is it possible to make my own? Somewhere in here it gives the exemptions. Hold on. Do we must wear one? What if we live in a group? Do children under 2? What if I have a health problem that makes it hard for me to wear a face covering? Do I still need to wear one? If you have a health problem that makes you unable to tolerate a face covering, you do not need to wear one. I mean, this is NewYorkCity.gov. I mean, come on. This makes practicing physical distancing and hand hygiene even more essential, which is fine. Like I'll do the 6 feet apart, like whatever. Like I'm not gonna, there are some people who are afraid of that. Like I'll do that, right? Like I'm not gonna just be a complete jerk just because I'm gonna be intolerant and I'm gonna be a rebel just for the sake of being a rebel. Like I'll stand 6 feet apart from you. If you come up to me, I'm not gonna be afraid or anything. But I'm not gonna wear a mask because you want me to wear a mask. I mean, this is infringing on more than just. This is more about, of course, everybody knows this is about it's about control rather than prevention. It's so funny because we'll go into the grocery store and everybody has their masks on and whatnot. Then the second we get out, everybody takes them off and it's just normal, right? Like it's completely back to normal. Or if you go to a park, right? You see, I was at the park. I was at the grocery store getting food, and then we went to the park, and everybody at the grocery store had masks, and I was the only one without one, of course. And everybody's like, "Oh man, the guy doesn't have a mask." And then we go to the park, and nobody's wearing a mask. Everybody's not even social distancing or anything. Everybody's right next to each other, and nobody cares, right? Nobody gave me looks. Of course, nobody has a mask on, right? But then when you go to the store, the same people, I guarantee the same people who would go into the grocery store would be giving me bad looks. It's like, are you serious? Like that's how completely stupid people have become and just willing to comply. Um, Sorry about all the noise. So the purpose of this video is to get people to be bold enough to walk into these stores, these businesses, and show other people that, hey, this isn't required. Nobody's kicking me out. Like they can't. They literally cannot kick me out because of the exemptions that are within the orders that the businesses are under. This is the law that they have to be under. That's it. You have to be under this law. Like you've chosen to incorporate yourself within the United States, therefore, boom, you you have to fall under this. You have to comply. Sorry, you're the one who's not going to you're the one who's not complying if you don't let me in. Like it's as simple as that. So go ahead and whatever city you're in, just try and find it. I told you it's hard. It's going to take 15 minutes of searching for each city possibly. Go to your government website and then look for executive orders and then just scroll until you find the one about face coverings. It's always face coverings. It's never masks. So that's the key word you want to use. And just find it, print it out, carry it with you, and say, hey, look, just explain it to them, educate them. Do not fight, educate, okay? Because most of the time, like if this is your first time learning about this, I could guarantee, like the cashier, the guy standing out of Walmart doesn't know this, and you just need to educate them. I've educated a lot of people. I'm like, whoa, thanks for telling me that, right? So just the more and more people, it's like that picture of all the people underneath the Monopoly board, and it says all you got to do is stand up and the whole game is destroyed. I mean, that's all we got to do is just stand up. So the more people who stand up against this, the better it's going to be for all of us. So, and I think people are starting to, like, a lot of people are starting to get into this, but they're still afraid to take the mask off. They're still afraid to not comply. So we need to stand up. It takes these forerunners to stand up, then everybody's going to follow. So let's just be bold. Let's not get mad. Let's be the people when somebody says "F you, jerk," for not wearing a mask. You need to be the one. You cannot engage in those fights. You cannot make the people who are standing up against our freedom be the bad guys, because that's what they're going to try and turn this against the people who are actually doing the right thing, and it's going to it's just going to be more fuel for the fire. So we need to treat everybody with respect. Even if they aren't treating us with respect, you need to treat them with respect, and you need to educate them and um, come to it from the point of view that they are just completely ignorant to this. That there is no law that says that you have to do it, and even if you want to construe a executive order as a law, within the executive order it says there's exemptions for people with medical exemptions and religious beliefs, right? I mean, and the New York City says in their questionnaire, like, you don't have to wear one if you have a medical. It doesn't say like, oh, you need a doctor's note, you need this. It's just like, I could diagnose myself. I put a mask on and I can't breathe well, right? Like, it's not that hard. And then all these other problems are going to follow, right? And this is even the tip of the iceberg for the problems, right? And it goes beyond that with like psychological issues. And also, I truly urge everybody to be bold enough to take the mask off and go out and really be the light in this world, to stop this tyranny. Because if we don't draw the line here, it's just going to keep going further and further. So, be bold, be strong, and don't be afraid.